Ahoy, me mateys! Welcome to me ship, the SS Safety. Safest ship on the 7 seas.
Oh, hey, Patrick.
Ethan, what happened?
What? What's wrong?
You're soaked.
I am? No, I'm not. I am completely soaked. I fell in the pond.
You must be feeling cold, right?
I am rather cold, actually, yes.
Okay. You must have hypothermia. Are you feeling cold?
Yes, I am.
Are you shivering?
A little bit, yeah.
Are you feeling a bit tired?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do.
Hypothermia? Oh, wait, he has hypothermia?
Yeah.
All right, guys, we need to get a warm bath ready for him. We gotta hard boil him like an egg. Come on, we gotta go.
No.
No?
What we need to do is we need to gradually warm him up. So take that blanket. I don't need to put it around him. Make him warm, but like not too quickly. Otherwise, he could get very worse. Are you feeling warmer?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get you inside, away from the water, so we can warm you up a bit more and get you into some dry stuff, okay?
All right.
All right, come on.
Action. Oh. Oh.
Are you okay?
I think you got the fish hook stuck in my finger. Oh.
Lucky for you, I'm the sea safety officer. And this here is my notepad. Can I help you?
Yeah, yes, get it out of there.
All right, come over here. Let me help you.
So, Doc, you can get this thing out of my finger?
Yeah. So, here's what we're gonna do. So, if it isn't already, and it is, we're gonna make sure that the barb is all the way through, and that's good. So, now, what we're gonna do is we are going to cut the barb, and then we just pull it back through.
Oh, it's finally out.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I think I will be.
All right.
Thanks, Doc.
So I want you to go wash that out and then put a Band-Aid on it, and then you'll be fine.
Sounds good. It's looking real nasty to begin with. We gotta do that soon.
And remember, keep an eye on it in case it turns fishy.
Will do, Doc. Cut.
Hey Gabe, what happened?
Yo, what up, dog?
What happened? Why are you so red?
What do you mean? Red's my color, man.
No, your arms, your neck, your face. Why is it so red?
I mean, I was just hanging down by the ponds. I don't know. You know, just chilling with the boys. What about you?
Did you get a sunburn?
Sunburn? Man, I never get burned.
I think you got a sunburn. Here, take this.
What is
Okay,
this?
that is called aloe vera. If you apply it to the areas of your skin that are redder than the rest of your body, which is everything, then that will help you feel better sooner. Like, does it feel like a burn or a pinch, like on your skin a
Heck
bit?
yeah, I'm on fire.
Okay, so later, I want you to apply that, and then in the future, before you go out into the sun, I want you to put this on. This will make sure that you don't get burned again.
Man, I already applied sunblock. I did the good stuff, the deed.
You need to do it every so often. You have to reapply it. Sometime around lunchtime is a good time to do it.
All right. Thanks, Doc. You're the man.
I can't believe him. He applied sunblock to treat a sunburn. You're supposed to apply sunblock to prevent a sunburn. You apply aloe vera to treat a sunburn. But the best prevention of all, better than even sunblock, just wear long sleeves.
Hi, my name is Sophie Schell, and I'm a Life Scout from Troop 248 and a member of the Amangamek-Wipit Lodge Health and Safety Committee.
And I'm William Sten. I'm a Life Scout and the Health and Safety Committee Chair for the Amangamek-Wipit Lodge.
Today, we're going to be teaching you some first aid.
The topics we will cover today are all ones required for ranks up to first class and the First Aid Merit Badge.
Now let's get started with some strains and sprains.
All right, Stefan, you said you came here because your foot hurt while running?
Yeah, while I was running, it just started hurting, and it was a sharp pain every time I hit the ground, and now it just hurts every time I put pressure on it.
Well, something you might have a strain or a sprain. So what we can do to that is, as Sophie mentioned, there's 4 components of RICE. There's rest, ice, compression, and elevation. So what we can do for compression is we have this ACE bandage, which will give you some compression. So you can take your shoe off, and the most common way to do this is a figure 8 wrap. So that means you just take the ACE bandage and you can wrap it in a figure 8. Something else she mentioned was the elevation. So I'm going to put your foot up on that to keep it elevated a bit.
Wow, I feel better already.
And as you can see, Stefan's not up and moving right now because he's taking a rest, and that is another component of RICE. If he were to be running around again, he could further injure his sprain or strain.
All right, now Stefan, I have this ice pack for you. Go put it on it, go chill in your tent, get some rest, get some ice, have a good day.
All right, will do. Thank you so much.
You're watching Camping Continues. We'll be right back after a word from today's sponsor.
Hi, I'm Julia May Shanlesko, your Council Commissioner. The sun is shining and Scout families are looking forward to escaping this spring to the great outdoors. There are great upcoming events to promote Cub Scout relaunch efforts. Let's welcome families back to scouting and the outdoors. Let's encourage units to recruit non-scouting families to join us outdoors. At Camp Snyder, we have an exciting Bullseye Family Camp on May 22nd and National Trails Day on June 5th. There will be lots of fun activities for everyone. Join us for shooting sports, the Scouter Horn climbing wall, coffee and tea, challenging outdoor, fun-filled, family-engaged experience, and team-enhancing activities. There is also day camp and summer camp. Together, we can make sure every member of the BSA has a great scouting experience and that camping continues and scouting continues. Let's relaunch Cub Scouting.
Welcome back. Let's get back into the action with Camping Continues.
Patrick, I think I've lost my tooth.
Okay, what happened?
Well, I was making breakfast with my campsite, and I must have overdone the toast a little bit because when I bit into it, my tooth came out.
You hold on to that for a second. Okay, so here's what you're gonna do. What I want you to do is take this. Hold on, let me find it. This, no, not this. Yeah, this. I want you to take this water, and I want you to rinse your tooth off, and I want you to rinse your mouth out. Okay, so take the water, and then, once you've done that, I want you to take the tooth and put it in, hold on, I got one in here somewhere. I was wondering where that went. I want you to take the tooth and put it in this bag, and then take it home with you, and you give it to your parents, okay?
All right, thank you.
Just basic first aid. Something you can really sink your teeth into.
Patrick, I got stung by a bee. What do I do?
Okay, so, are you allergic to bees?
No.
Okay, good. I have something in here that might help. No, not in here. I swear I had one. Hold on. Here it is. Okay, so what I want you to do, I want you to take this and I want you to apply pressure like this against the stinger of the bee still in your finger until it comes out, just like so. And then when you're done, you bring this back to me.
All right, thank you, Patrick. Got it, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Patrick, help. Oh,
What happened?
Well, I was running my kite, right? I was running with my kite.
Okay.
And I was looking back while running. I was running this way, looking that way, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What happened?
There's a tree, and I smacked the tree. Ow. And my nose, it's just bleeding.
Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to put your face down like this, and I want you to pinch your nose.
Pinch nose, okay.
And then I want you to take these tissues, and I want you to hold them here to catch any blood that does fall. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Alright. And watch out for any trees.
I will, thank you. Next up on our list is broken bones and fractures. So some common signs of a broken bone or fracture are obvious deformities. If the limb is askew, meaning you can see it bent or not the normal shape, and typically there's general pain, swelling, and bruising in the area.
Now we're going to show you how to treat that. Here I have my SAM splint, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it on the broken limb underneath it so he can hold it with his fingers and bend it to fit his arm. Next, I'm going to take my ace bandage and I'm going to wrap it around. This helps to stabilize the splint and ensure that his arm moves less, because if it continues to move, that can cause greater injury. So as you can see, I'm just wrapping it around, and once I finish that off, I'm just going to secure it, one of the metal pins, and then to stabilize it even more, I'm going to use my triangular bandage here to make a sling. And the way you're going to do that is you're going to place the broken limb in the middle of the triangular bandage, and then you're going to wrap one side around the back of his neck and tie a simple knot. Don't make it too tight, but you should make it tight enough that it will still stabilize the limb. This helps to prevent it from moving. And so you can additionally tie another knot at the end. Thank you.
Hello and welcome back to Camping Around the Council, and we're excited to have you with us this evening. This is part of the episode about the Knights of Dumas. This part of the episode, we explore scouting's rich history, and last week we talked about the Air Scout and Air Exploring programs. This week we're jumping into the history of the Knights of Dumas, or we're going to call them KD for short. The Knights of Dumas were founded in 1925 by Raymond O. Hansen, who was serving as the scout executive in the San Francisco area. On the right is a patch for the founding chapter of the Knights of Dumas. What was the KD all about? The Knights of Dumas served a few roles. It was a National Eagle Scout Honor Society. It was a National Eagle Scout Service Association. And more generally, it was an organization that urged Eagle Scouts to stay involved beyond earning just simply that pewter silver Eagle Scout badge, to continue in their unit, as scouting as a whole, and being a bedrock of their community which they represent. The Knights of Dumas had an induction ceremony, like many other historical societies we would do. And on the right, there was a photo of their handbook. It depicts the induction of a senior patrol leader from Troop 527 of the Washington, D.C. area, here in our own home of the National Capital Area Council, with a chapter of the Knights of Dumas, which they used to call the President's Chapter. How fascinating! Another photo we are fortunate to see exists is the Knights of Dumas handbook is of the Supreme Court Justice, Mr. Tom Clark's honorary induction into the President's Chapter. You might have noticed that there was a neckerchief that was placed on Justice Clark. The neckerchief in the slide were identifiers of his membership in the Knights of Dumas. These are examples can be seen here, and there are other designs from a neckerchief and to a special blue one with a white slide given to a number of the Grand Chapter, which was the governing board at the national level. In addition to a neckerchief and slide, the Grand Chapter produced a membership card. And here are two examples of what were issued to those who were members of the President's Chapter. The President's Chapter also had their own apparel, like this own t-shirt, which the example is shown below. Isn't it interesting, everything that we all used to have in common? In addition to standard items of the Knights of Dumas, optional civilian war pins and even rings were available. The chapter's commander would wear a small pin with a small diamond affixed at top, as shown in the handbook snippet. The Knight Eagle was a higher level of membership, and their requirements were hard to earn it. Shown here is the additional memorabilia, and the armband shown at the top is a great reminder of the core purposes of the Knights of Dumas, which of course, much like us here in the Order of the Arrow, was service. Not pictured are armbands and other patches that were worn by the KD members serving in the Knights of Dumas Service Corps at the National Scout Jamborees. The Knights of Dumas would not last forever. Come in 1972, the group was disbanded to allow for the creation of the National Eagle Scout Association, which was integrated a part of the Boy Scouts of America. At that time, the local NISA chapter decided to keep its name, as evident in the picture below. Nowadays, the local chapter goes under a different name, NISA DC, and serves as a way for Eagle Scouts to engage in scouting and give back to their community. We hope you learned something about the brief history of the Knights of Dumas. Our next episode will give some background on one of Scouts' most beloved aspects. Of course, we all remember those days, the Cub Scout Pinewood Derby. Thank you again for joining us for Camping Around the Council, a part of Season 2 of Camping Continues. Stay tuned for next week as we go racing. Good night.
So, an important part of being in the medical profession is having a first aid kit. Now, the very first thing you need to have a first aid kit is somewhere to store your stuff. Like this bag. It's an old bag. Not that much money, but it works and it's helpful. Next most important thing is gloves. Gloves are an important part of making sure that you stay safe while you're helping others be healthy. Next, you need Band-Aids. One of the most important and basic tools for someone rendering first aid. You can put them on any cuts and scrapes, and they are very helpful. Next up is gauze pads. Gauze pads are great if you get blisters. So if you're into hiking, you're gonna want these. Next, you need ointment. Ointment is great to help you feel better and to make sure that you don't get infected. Next up is medical tape. Medical tape is very useful in addition to the gauze pads or anything else that you need to attach to your arm that doesn't automatically stick. So this, you wrap it around and boom, it's stuck to your arm. Another thing that is very helpful with the medical tape is a pair of scissors. This can help you cut the tape so that way you still have some left over and you don't have a big thing hanging from your arm. This is my first aid kit, and you can put your own together at home, and I encourage you to. Thank you for your time, and remember, keep your first aid kit with you at all times.
Doc, help me, Doc. I cut my arm, Doc.
What happened?
I was swimming in the reef, and the current blew me into some coral.
Okay, are you okay?
Not.
Well, besides...
Other than that, I'm fine.
Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to rinse off all that blood, make sure it's clean, and then I want you to take an alcohol wipe, wash that wound, make sure it doesn't get worse, and then when you take a Band-Aid to put it on, I want you to take some antibacterial ointment such as Neosporin, put it on the Band-Aid, and then put the Band-Aid on, and then keep an eye on the wound. If it gets worse, come see me.
Okay, Doc. Thank you, Doc.
No problem. And stay out of the water.
Pretty good.
Hey Doc, what's up?
Okay.
My arm's been smelling kind of funny. I wonder if you could take a look.
Yeah, sure.
Right there.
Whoa. What happened?
Is it okay?
What happened?
I was in the woods a few months ago. I was walking through, and there was a bear And so I needed to set up my tent. Night was falling, it was getting dark, so I walked over and it wasn't too happy about that. So
Okay.
so this happened.
Did you do anything to treat the wound?
Yeah, of course. I applied sunscreen, I hit it with some bug spray, make sure nothing gets on it.
Okay, what else did you do? Did you do anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Does it feel warm to the touch?
Oh yeah, it's burning.
Okay, so that wound is infected. We need to go see an actual doctor. Come on. Come on.
All right.
All right, so many of you know what goes in your personal first aid kit, but there's a few other things to consider when building a large bag such as this for your troop or unit.
So here we have a sample troop first aid kit, and we're going to be going through it and explaining what everything is and how you might use it. So here we have the main pouch. It's the biggest in the bag.
All right, so the first item, this is SAM splints. These are very useful. They were demonstrated earlier. They can be used for fractures and broken bones, and they can conform to almost any shape to fit any limb.
Next, we have paper towels and plastic baggies. And while you might not always need paper towels and plastic baggies for first aid, they're very useful to have.
Something else to consider is ice packs. These get used a lot, so you want to keep around 5 or so in your troop first aid bag in a variety of sizes. They also make hot packs for other types of injuries.
Next, we have some hand sanitizer. And it's important to make sure before you perform first aid that your hands are clean and whatever you might be touching is also clean. And so we have alcohol wipes as well, but the hand sanitizer is another great way to make sure that there's no germs and bacteria on your hands.
A very important part of health and safety is log keeping. In this binder, we have all sorts of different forms, from first aid logs to COVID forms and med forms, as well as other different records that can be very useful for your health and safety career.
Next, we have a safety vest. It's bright yellow, so it stands out, and it also has these metallic things so they can be seen at night. Normally, you would wear this when checking people in a line so people know who you are and that you're part of health and safety.
In our next compartment, we have one of the most important things with COVID is spare masks. People always forget them, and they can come in handy.
And then we have hand warmers. It is important that you always stay warm because you can get hypothermia if you become too cold. So these hand warmers can help with that, and they help keep your hands warm as well, which is always nice.
Now with your personal first aid kit, you might just have a tube of ointment, but when you're doing this with multiple people, it's not very sanitary to share the same tube. So that's why we have this box, which has all the different wipes and ointments you could possibly need, as well as some other useful things like safety pins and tubes of saline. There's nothing else in that pocket.
And then in our next pocket, this is at the very top. It's easily accessible. And so this is for emergency rush cases. And so here we have a tourniquet. That is something to consider having in your troop first aid kit, but only if you know how and when to use it.
Should only be used in life-threatening situations. Another one is a CPR mask. Nowadays, more and more people are teaching hands-only CPR, but if you are trained in rescue breath, this is a very useful item to have.
Additionally, we have an emergency blanket. And this can help, again, with hypothermia to keep you warm. And it is very small and compact, so you can easily pull it out, but it keeps you very warm.
Now with the times of COVID, something that's very important to have is a non-contact thermometer like this. It's very useful because when you're checking people in, you don't want them to have COVID, so you take their temperatures to make sure.
We also have a pair of trauma shears. These are very sharp and will cut through almost anything, but they're very helpful to have so that you can cut your first aid supplies.
Another good thing many people forget is pen and paper. If you give somebody a medication, for instance, or if you see a certain type of insect or bite, you want to be able to record details such as the time it happened or who was there, other things like that.
Additionally, we have more pairs of medical scissors, so these can be for things like cutting gauze and tape, etc.
Another important thing to have is gloves. If you're just treating yourself, you might not think about it. When you're treating others, you always want to be sanitary and use gloves because it protects both you and them.
Here we have a pin light, and that can be very helpful for checking pupils. And it also has a pupil gauge on the side to make sure that pupils aren't too large and dilated, because that can indicate other injuries.
Last item we have, this one isn't as much as a necessity, but it is very useful. They make these bite sticks where it's almost like a marker, but you can apply it to mosquito or other bug bites and it will make the itching and pain go away. So it may not be the most important or useful item in your kit, but it can certainly make life at camp much better.
Thank you so much. We hope you learned something about your troop first aid kit.
You're watching Camping Continues. We'll be right back after a word from today's sponsor.
Hi, I'm Charlie Brown, and I want to make sure that when you go out there and get back involved in scouting and all your new high adventure, you need to make sure you have trained adults to back you up. Our council has some of the best opportunities available with our wilderness first aid training. Make sure you check them out now so you can be trained when you go outside.
Welcome back. Let's get back into the action with Camping Continues.
This world has been something. 2020 was rough, and 2021, moving forward, that's where we were all called to act. Scouting has an inspiring organization that has given some people a glimpse at a better world. BP, Robert Baden-Powell, our founder, this was his life mission, to share this movement and the ideals of scouting. He had a chance to grow and see this mission take off. Then a challenge came from the East, and Germany was rising. It took elements of his idea and turned it into a twisted vision of scouting to serve their own desires. The world was plunged into a second world war. BP was crushed. He felt like his life work was a failure, and how those ideals could be twisted and misused by people with vile designs. And then, as the World War raged on, BP died. Never had a chance to see his nation or the world at peace. Slowly, the world set itself right. The Allies became victors and set about rebuilding the world. Scouting, like a second and far-flung success, found itself in the far reaches of the globe. Scouting here in the USA grew to its highest height in our post-war country. Scouting has seen America through some serious changes and hard moments. The ideals of scouting found in our Scout Oath and law are more than mere words. They're words that we are called to live and embody. Scouting's ultimate goal is to call us to be better citizens to help our nation and the world. The only way anything will ever get better is if we remain true to those words and their ideals. Bring it to life and provide an example for your friends, family, neighbors, community, and the world. I really do believe that Scouting is the best organization to provide hope into the future and make a better world. We are all called to be better each and every day. And I know that it is within all of us and within you as well. America's greatest dawn is still before us, and we have heights that we are still to summit. That is why she needs young leaders who are ready, equipped, and capable of moral and ethical decisions. BP may have died thinking he failed, but guess what? We are still here, still existing in surely the strangest of times that any of us have ever lived through. Keep the faith, and true to our mission, stay ready for when the opportunities arise to get back out there. This may be one of more rambling chats, but I believe it's something that had to be shared. Thanks for your support in the future of scouting and our nation. And never forget, camping continues, scouting continues, and I'll see you down the trail. Good night.
This has been a production of the Amangamek-Wipit Lodge, done in partnership with the National Capital Area Council.